So again, let me ask you again.
Lowering a pig into a gas.
Why is it that your vegan group of people so ignorant about the new discipline of plant neurobiology? Tell me.
Because scientists laughed it out of the room. No scientists.
Which scientists laughed out of the room? Name me some.
The whole scientific.
Name me some
There is
scientists.
no whole scientific community.
Exactly.
The scientific community is composed of
Name me
various
some
different
scientists.
scientists
Go
This is
ahead.
an
with
argument you
beliefs.
take seriously.
I do, yeah. Because
You
also
think-
traditional cultures have always believed
You
that plants
think
have
that someone
consciousness.
plucking a blade of grass is the same as stabbing a puppet?
I'm not
Name me
saying that
some
it's the same.
scientists who disregard plant neurobiology as like this is pseudoscience. Go on.
I'm not saying that it's the
Richard
same, but
Dawkins, there you
I,
go.
Richard Dawkins. In which work?
Richard Dawkins is a joker.
Yeah, which work? Which publication?
there
Is it an
as
academic
well.
journal?
The God delusion.
He doesn't talk about. Oh, he talks about
been
plant
there, you have no
Maybe he
neurobiology.
does, I don't know.
Extended feeding.
Maybe he does.
Well, you don't
So
know that.
now you're making up as you go along.
No, but you're just moving
Why
the
do we?
No, no, no.
Why do we need
Why
to
would we need to
debunk
name
this?
you someone?
Yeah.
Why?
We would appreciate when you're discussing your philosophy and to try to defend your philosophy, be honest, be a man and woman of integrity, and if you don't know, just simply say, I don't know, like you did.
We can only
But
be
you-
integrous as the person we're talking to, and you're here talking about plant suffering. How can we take that seriously?
No, do plants feel pain?
No.
So this is where you need to go back to basics again and study all these numerous
But even
studies,
from your worldview, you
research
don't
work
believe
that
that.
have been done demonstrating, yes, they can
Paranormal
feel
studies.
pain.
Even from your
Not
own
paranormal.
worldview, you don't
Look,
believe that
no, no, no.
animals and plants
Instead
are
of-
Why is there a Muslim way to
Knowing the
halal
law?
slaughter an animal, but no
we
Muslim way to halal
believe,
slaughter a
we
plant?
believe
There
God
is,
has created
there is.
us.
There is no
and
halal way to
everything
kill
else.
plants.
We say Bismillah. That's
Yeah.
Thank you. Right.
There is.
No, but why?
Bismillah.
Why,
That's
no, but
it.
why is it?
Can I ask you something? Sorry to go back. We go back to the planting again. Can I ask you something? You said about animal rights, right? We think of just about animals, but really, are you thinking about actually the rights of the human beings? When you buy a piece of meat, when you buy dairy, when you buy eggs, you know who you're paying? You're paying an industry.
Oh, you're preaching
who
now.
actually
Stop,
has-
stop, stop,
Can you-
stop,
as
stop,
land-
stop, stop,
slaughterhouse
stop.
workers.
Firstly, every Muslim.
Something you
Hang
don't
on.
like, you tell her to
Look,
stop.
look.
She's making a point.
No, no,
listen.
you're preaching.
You-
I know what you're preaching.
No, no, you make
But
me- you
in
make me
response,
say it.
what
You
I'll
make
say
me-
is, every Muslim will
You've
agree
just
with
been
you
shouting your
that
opinion. Can you listen to
we
her?
do not approve of all this inhuman, all this torturous things that we see
Well,
about
then stop buying
transportation
eggs
of
and stop buying
animals,
products with eggs.
slaughtering of animals. In
Stop buying it.
fact,
Great,
you
we
don't
agree.
even know
Stop
our
funding
belief
this.
in which it makes sure that we look after our environment, we look after our animals all around. We don't approve of any of
Can I
that.
ask you a question?
So don't, without preaching,
No,
without
but I'm
preaching.
asking you a question.
Why are you shouting?
Yes, I'm just asking you a question.
Because I want people to hear me.
Can we hear you? So I'm just asking you a question.
Or can you hear me from the back?
Imagine a Muslim.
Thank you. So I don't need to shout that loud.
Can I say something to you? Well, if we pay like, okay, think about slaughterhouse workers, right? They work 8, 12, 10 hours on the killing floor. 10 hours of killing. They don't actually go to the bathroom. They don't have bathroom breaks. They don't have lunch breaks. So this is actually, there are some immigrants, unfortunately, they don't have a visa, they don't have a choice. So this work is done by people who don't have a choice.
But that's nothing inherent to animal slaughter.
Yeah, but we treat,
For example, do you eat
we
chocolate?
treat I eat chocolate.
Okay, so you're
but I
aware
don't-
of the fact that cocoa is harvested primarily
I
by
don't
child
eat-
slaves in
I
Congo.
don't eat Kit Kat. There is also fair trade chocolate, raw cacao. If you go to organic shop, but there's so many choices. You don't have to eat Kit Kat. You don't have to eat Bounty or made with dairy milk, especially enslaving the cows, right? And the cows shutting
But
them down.
there's a more subtle argument here, isn't there? It's not just if you're talking about human rights,
Yes.
then you have to think about the whole food chain, not just the animal aspect of the food chain. Because the whole supply chain that we experience when we buy food in the supermarket, whether it's a plant or an animal product that we're buying, there's going to be some kind of exploitation of people involved, most likely.
Most non-vegan,
So-
in fact, pretty much every non-vegan who says that cares about neither. They'll buy both the animal products and the plant products that not only mass murder the animals, that exploit the humans as well.
Well, that's just a straw man. You just made this person up. I mean,
I haven't made the person up. The person is probably you.
well, what do you mean? Where are you getting that from? Do you know me? Have we met before?
No, but I assume you say that you buy the same shit as everyone else.
Well, why do you assume that? You just have a judgmental view of people in general.
Because I'll tell you why. Every single person that I
Because I'm not a vegan, that's why. And you think I'm a lesser
every single
person.
I speak to at these places says,
This is how you
I don't
look
buy
down
this,
upon
I buy
people.
something else.
Would you
Yet
say
here it
agree
is
with
happening by the
Objectively.
billion every single year.
Okay, we can all
So
play the
who's
purity
funding
game,
this
mate. And
if
all...
none of you are? Because everyone keeps telling me, this isn't me funding this.
Every single
So who
person
Do you
I spoke
feel?
to
Do you
today.
feel really sad when a lion eats a deer?
Yes.
Obviously, it's
Yes.
something sad.
Just as I feel sad when a lion rapes a lioness.
When a lion eats a deer, you feel sad.
Obviously, you feel
Oh, I don't
sad.
like suffering.
Yeah,
So what is the lion going to eat?
but what is
He
that?
can only eat the deer.
What is the lion going to eat according
That's
to you?
actually that's a very
Deer and zebra.
I'm not talking to you.
That's a very.
So would you feel sorry and sad when a lion eats a zebra?
Let me explain.
Yes.
Let me can explain. No, it's a question.
but it's the right question.
Okay, this is a good question. It's sad to see that, but the lion in the forest doesn't have a choice. It's either survival, right, or dying. It's sad. It's sad. Here in 2022, we have Tesco, we have Sainsbury's, we have a brain. We can make choices. Okay, we can be okay. What do? Do I eat something which comes from cruelty, from torture, from enslavement, or do I actually eat something which was not an animal before, was not a sentient being capable of feelings? We have power. We have a choice. Okay,
So I
not to
understand
be
your
cruel.
answer. So the answer that okay. So
Choice is cruel then.
what I want. So what I understood from what you said is this. What I understood is this. So it is not about someone harming another animal or not. It's about exercising a choice. So for example, if you are in a desert island and two of you are there, right?
Dude, why the desert island scenario?
Wait. Let me
Not
make my
relevant.
comparison.
It's just not relevant.
Hang on. So imagine now you're in a desert island. There is nothing, no food whatsoever. Now you said you need to eat for survival, otherwise you're going to be dead. So I want to ask you this question: the only food that I can see in front of both of you is the other, because still there's a lot of nutrients in you and a lot of nutrients in you. So does that mean if you have no choice remaining, because when there's only two of you there, one should eat the other?
Excuse me, if you have no choice,
I'm giving an example.
they did it on a plane.
So can you answer that question?
Relevant to your situation.
Could you answer that?
Where do you live right now?
When you had no choice in that desert island, would you eat him? Would you eat him to live?
Why? Who cares?
Would you eat him to live? Or would you eat her to live?
It's a good
If she
looking
says
guy.
yes,
That's important.
Wait. If she answered yes, that she would eat him, does
Oh, you would
that
eat him,
justify
yeah?
her eating him now?
No.
Because
So
she's
would
not
you
in a
eat him?
survival situation.
Yes, it doesn't change the fact.
No, what I want to know is simple.
So if
Would you eat him
I
and would you eat her?
I tell you, if I were
I think he will eat her.
If I was in the cave, let's say I was a cave.
No. I've given you a scenario. In a desert. No. Use my particular scenario.
Our answer
You're in a
doesn't
desert
matter. Why
island.
does it
You're stranded. You're stranded. There's no food whatsoever. There's no help coming with, dropping foods from the sky.
So here's a
would
question
you
for you.
eat him?
Here's a question for you. If you went into a supermarket
would
and there was
you?
a chicken on the shelf
you?
and there were some chickpeas on the
you?
shelf, which would you
No.
fund?
Would you eat him?
It's interesting that you can't give a straight answer.
I wouldn't eat him. Would you?
I can give a straight answer. No, I
I wouldn't eat him. Would you eat him?
Why can't you give a straight answer?
So this is the actual.
Because it doesn't
Would you eat him?
Well, then if it doesn't matter, just give an answer yes.
And why are you defending me?
Hello.
This ridiculous
I
argument.
was talking
I
to
don't
you.
find it ridiculous,
I
I
don't
find it
speak to people
interesting.
who are insincere. I'm sorry. Please carry on talking. When it's,
I don't have nearly as
when it's a inserted question, I have to, because they're not willing to have a sincere discussion. Just answering that question.
Oh, I know.
For another organism.
Of course.
And me, I'm not a meat eater, so don't think I'm going to jump. I'm a vegan, but don't worry about any of that. But what he's showing is that he has no empathy for an organism.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, well done.
It's kind of sad state of humanity, as in he cannot have a connection with seeing the suffering. You can eat meat or whatever. Like, I know people are meat eaters, but they're looking at me, nah, that's not cool, man, that's not cool. But it shows he has no empathy for another organism, so...
Yeah, a lot of non-vegans now will just admit that this
The only
is
thing,
fucked up.
can I ask you a question? Because I'm vegetarian, almost vegan. I'm almost vegan. But when I've often seen Piers Morgan, of all people, in a debate, and one of the things that he says is that the vegans still have to give an explanation to how they can justify so many insects and other living creatures being mashed up.
Sorry?
Would
smirking at?
We do
All the
care about
situation.
crop deaths, which is why we're vegan, because being vegan reduces crop deaths by 10 times. So it takes 10 times more crops to feed a non-vegan than it does a vegan, due to all the crops used to raise farmed animals. So we understand that we can't live perfectly existing in a society now, but we just want to minimise our harm to animals, and we ultimately want a vegan world with vegan crop farmers and a veganic farming system like vertical farming.
Do you think it minimises cruelty by relying on imported foods to have a balanced diet? You know, because most vegans have to eat things like lentils, avocados, the big staple. All of this stuff is flown in from very far away. There's a huge environmental cost. Either way, it's a huge environmental cost.
If you're against eating avocados, just don't eat them.
Okay, but a lot of products, I mean, do you eat lentils?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Okay, so where do they come from?
Well, they're grown in other countries and shipped across at a very, very low carbon cost. So if it's an environmental argument you're making,
I think it's intensive.
Yeah.
then they're one of the lowest carbon emission foods that you can eat.
That's what they're
Okay, well, I'll tell you what.
And ultimately, it's not about environmentalism. Veganism isn't about the environment, it's about ethics.
Well, that's your own personal view of veganism. I mean, people have their own...
that is what veganism is.
Well,
It's
I've
not
heard
about
vegans make the argument that they do it for an environmental reason, so you can't speak for
Think
everybody.
about environment. You know the animal. Have you ever heard of animal excellence?
Yes,
Such a
I've
big
heard of animal
environmental impact as well.
Of course, I mean, I should put my cards on the table. I don't agree with, the cruel treatment of animals, but I believe that one can live in balance with the whole of nature while still eating some meat. I think often actually it's a more balanced diet and a more balanced way of life can include some meat because it's less reliant on imports. And traditional cultures all throughout history have, in most cases, eaten some animals, and they've eaten some plants, and they've had a balanced, a mixed diet. But they've always, if I can just finish, but they've always treated all of nature with respect, and they've had an attitude of only taking as much as can sustainably regrow itself, whether that's from an animal population or a plant population. And that's what I believe in. So I think, and also traditional cultures, similar to what that guy was talking about, have always believed that all things are conscious. So plants are conscious just the same as animals. And they respect the spirit of the plant that they take from. They don't just treat plants like shit that we can just eat as much as we want to. So that's where I think veganism goes wrong, because it thinks plants, okay, we can't exploit animals, but we can exploit the fuck out of plants.
First of all, plants, they don't have a nervous system like an animal does.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they have consciousness.
Obviously, we are nature that has consciousness, but I think as George said before, going back, being vegan doesn't mean to be 100% perfect. It means to do the least harm on this planet.
Right, and I believe that the least harm can be done by eating some meat as well.
Even
By
now.
killing animals.
Because you're killing animals. Animals die regardless. You know, you are going to kill
You
animals,
don't have to be responsible.
but you are responsible for killing
Humans are
animals. Do
gonna-
you fly on airplanes?
Not really.
Not really? What does that mean?
Flown in a couple of years.
Oh, good point.
Okay.
But that's irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant. It's not irrelevant because okay, this. Let's look at this thing you're holding right here in your arms. Okay, do you know about? Have you heard of a mineral
You've
called
got no
coltan?
arguments against veganism, so you're trying to find hypocrisy.
No, I'm not talking about hypocrisy. I'm talking about lifestyle choices that we all make that impact the world around
Don't say
us.
that we're causing no bad impact or no suffering. It's just minimising it as much as
Right,
practical.
but minimising it
And so
can
minimising
include
it is
eating
not
some meat.
murdering. No. It's,
Oh, but why do you
it's
draw a
that
line?
animal-
Because it's
not
not.
to that animal that you're eating. It doesn't matter whether you are flying less or if you're eating less meat. That animal that is dying so you can eat them, you're taking their life and they don't want to die.
And the
they
same
don't
is true
have
of
to.
animals that you've killed indirectly by relying on products that are made out of minerals that are mined.
Yeah, and I'm not
in,
saying that I'm causing no suffering to
Central
animals.
African countries.
I'm minimising the suffering as much as I
And so do I
possibly
try to. That's we're talking about the same principle.
you're
But I
still
believe that I
causing
can
an
still
animal
eat
to
some
die.
meat, and that can be part of a balanced lifestyle and a balanced harmony with the natural world. And again, this is drawing on the wisdom of traditional cultures all through history. I'm not just making this stuff up out of
Do
thin
you
air.
think it's good to justify things that we do today based on what people did hundreds of years ago?
I believe we can learn lessons from people who
Yeah, we
have
can learn
lived
lessons from the past. We
because
can
traditional
learn-
cultures have lived more than any culture in history, and certainly our culture have actually lived in balance with their environment.
Yeah.
And that surely is the goal.
So I'm a bit confused. So you're defending like eating meat, and you're saying like that you're
Consciously.
using like that we've done it in the past and it's more natural. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that if you are conscious about what you eat and you are careful to try and maintain the balance of the ecosystem that
So
supports you
how
and
do you
all
do
of
that?
life.
What does that look like in practice then?
That might, for example, look like eating some animals that are well farmed, well raised in local farms near to you.
So all the meat that you eat comes from those
No.
places?
I'm talking about this as an
So
ideal.
well,
Same as
that's
you,
not
we're
the
talking about
world we live in,
ideals,
is
aren't we?
it?
This is our ideals that we aspire to in our hearts. Right?
Well,
I
you
try,
can
I
do
aim
if you
towards
want-
this. I aim
so
towards this.
So you're saying that you're reducing animal suffering as much as possible, but you're not.
No, I
You're
try
not
to. I
actually
try to.
doing
No, I
that.
try to.
So what you would actually be doing if you cared about animals would be being vegan. You can just not eat animals at all.
I mean, I try.
Well, try harder.
Okay, well, yeah, we can all play that game. None of us is,
You know,
an angel.
how many people are on this planet? How many animals are we artificially inseminating nowadays? Tons, billions, trillions of animals.
Me personally,
So what?
We give birth to more animals. They, like for example, the life of a cow. I don't know if you were talking about this. The life of a cow, it's just a very sad and tragic, dramatic
Yes, it's
life.
torturous
She's
life.
a slave.
So what's your point? I agree with you.
Yeah, so it's not, to go back to the point, it's not sustainable, it's very cruel, because we enslave this mother, and she gives birth every 9 months, right, to baby cows.
it's a machine.
So if it's a girl that's born, obviously she's going to be a slave to her mother, right, and giving birth. If it's a boy, it's shot in the head, or he's kept alive after 7 years.
Right, but not all farming is the same. It's talking of all agriculture, all
Most of it is. Most
livestock
of the stuff that you
is
buy
raised in
in
the same way.
supermarkets or in restaurants.
No, indeed. But it doesn't have to be like that, and there are other possibilities. So I'm just disagreeing with the
you're saying
purity
because
of your
there are better ways to do it,
philosophy.
It's okay for you to fund.
I'm not talking about what's okay for me, or I'm not. You keep bringing it back to my
Yeah,
lifestyle
I'm trying to hold
choices.
you accountable for the decisions you're making.
Who are you telling me accountable? Only God can hold us to account.
Personally,
Okay, fine. But you do not have the right to judge.
It's the same, you know.
Fish same as like they feel pain just like us. They have
I'm
brains,
not. I'm
they
not
don't
judging
have
you.
system.
Okay, I'm not making judgments on your character.
I'm not
So
judging
don't
your
make judgments
character.
on
I'm
mine.
just saying that
Okay.
you're doing something that is not no good.
You don't know me. You're like this guy. You just assume because you're a vegan, you think everyone around you is
No, you just told me
evil.
that you buy animal products
Cannibals.
in supermarkets and things.
Right, exactly.
If you buy the dead animals' bodies, then you are causing suffering to the
And I told you already,
animals, and
you've
don't
caused
have to.
suffering by using this big
Yeah, but
TV that you've
We've
in
explained what veganism
whatever,
is. It's like
like,
reducing animal suffering as much as you possibly can.
Okay, and I've said that I aspire to the same principle, reducing suffering of not just animals but all things.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so
But
why
you
do we
actually, I don't
disagree?
think you are living in line with your own principles.
Well, that's
when you say
nice.
that.
It's nice that you think
If
that.
you're vegan,
You have a very kind view of
suffering
people.
of the plants as well, because so when we actually artificially inseminate these animals, right? We bring into existence tons and trillions, billions of animals. These animals have to eat. What we do, we cultivate crops, soya, grains. So we exploit the soil, we cut trees, right? And we feed these animals.
Yeah. So how's that nice to the
We
plants?
could give this food, instead of bringing into existence trillions and billions of cows, chicken, pigs, we could actually give all these crops, soy, grains, to actually people. We have enough food for everyone. So it's not even environmentally.
Sorry, what?
You know what vegans have to do? They need to understand that, see, I'm a vegan myself, but as I say, you have to understand the psychology of people. You have to understand the psychology of meat eating. Because when you actually eat meat, it's certain amino acids and it interacts with the brain. So it's a kind of like, just like sugar, you can get hooked on it. People get hooked on meat as well.
Yeah, there is a
You just got to taste the blood, like quite simply. So when you're dealing with a lot of people who are meat eaters, you got to deal with desensitized.
Our brains are very good at like justifying.
Yeah, you got to remember you're
It's very
dealing with
dehumanizing to
desensitized.
say to have that view.
But I've reflected on myself
Yeah, we
to
all-
give this analogy. So don't be insecure and think I'm giving a direct.
No, I just find it very,
Because you're
kind of
feeling
dehumanising
insecure.
talk.
No, because you're feeling insecure.
I'm not
Because I'm
insecure
actually
at all.
reflecting. You are actually displaying insecurity because I
Well,
actually
if you
talked
see it,
about.
that's-
About plants, sorry, because I kind of forgot about your question. About plants again. When we feed all these crops, what crops are? They are plants. So if we don't grow, if we don't put into existence these billions and trillions of cows, chicken and pigs, we don't cultivate as much crops as we do because we bring these animals into existence. So coming back to your point, being vegan is doing the least harm on this planet. It's not being perfect. It's living. perhaps I'm stepping on ants right now. I don't even know.
Exactly.
So it's obviously, if we don't bring trillions of cows into existence, we don't have to cultivate crops from them, and we save more plants. So it's trying to be more.
How would you do that? No,
Sorry, say again?
how would you do that? Not allowing the cow to reproduce.
Because it's so. Every time you eat a piece of meat, right?
No, how would you do that? If we don't eat the cows, they will reproduce.
No, you know, like the vast majority of farm animals, they're artificially inseminated. The
But if we leave them in
harvest
nature.
the semen from
But if
the
we leave
the
them in
males
nature.
and then inseminates
They're
the
talking about
females.
industrial farming.
It's
No, I'm
the
not
same
talking- I'm
with
talking-
most farms.
yeah, but
It's
I'm-
not
natural.
Most farms would be the
Cows.
same.
Yes,
not natural.
but I'm talking about if we leave them naturally, they will reproduce. So what we're going to do, the thing is, yeah. In this case, what we do.
What about animals that exist
Yeah,
already?
yeah.
Well, so because the world will turn vegan gradually, so the demand for meat will drop gradually. So we'll just breed less animals into existence.
If we leave them in nature, they will reproduce themselves, yeah? They will increase.
Cows, cows,
Animals,
pigs,
general,
chickens.
yeah. And they will eat more veg.
Pigeons
That's been part of the traditional diet.
Herbivores and carnivores are not around. They will do.
Pigeons.
Nature does know how to resist.
Yes,
It's
it was.
us
Look at Smithsonian's.
creating
I
the
understand.
world. You know, can
But
I
there
just
was-
say something? Like if we, sorry, say again.
If we leave the animals alone, they will reproduce.
But it's even us.
I understand. So there will be more plant eaten because there is more animals.
Cannibalism. You had
But
open meat.
the animals are already reproducing without us in the fields. They're the animals like wild animals.
So you leave them to reproduce.
Like wild animals do. It's not our
So you don't
job.
castrate them or anything like that.
It's not our
Well, we're not going to just release them into the wild. What will happen? Like at the moment, the demand is here, so we're breeding this many animals into existence. More people go vegan, the demand goes down. We breed less animals until eventually there's no demand. None of these farm animals they go extinct because they're
How would they go
genetic mutants.
extinct?
They've been artificially selected to produce more
So
flesh,
you
more
don't-
meat,
you won't-
more eggs, more milk. They're genetic
So
freaks.
yeah, so you won't